Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Game Plan. This is all about the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers. Huge game, great game, can't wait to talk about it. If you're new to this show, here's what I do. I quickly break down the injuries, the key injuries for each team. I break down the key stats, the key analytics. I also call those bettors or gambler stats. I'll explain them when I get there. We will predict the game plans and the paths to victory for both the Packers and the 49ers. And then we will conclude with fantasy football projections from my fantasy football analytics, my algorithm tool for everybody out there for both the Packers and the 49ers. As I always say at this point, please, if you could give me 2 seconds of your time for 2 clicks, a like and a subscribe. We need your partnership basically so that we can become a YouTube partner and make these videos even better for you. We are very excited. We're very close to that barrier, but we could really use your support in doing that. We do have, Fantasy Football Week 12 playlists. Every week we do it. We update daily. We're really pouring ourselves into this channel, so we hope you like what we're putting together. Now let's start, as I always do, with the key injuries. And I have to laugh. I've done a few of these for the 49ers so far this season. Do you notice a disparity? Do you notice an inequity in the injury report? It's crazy. The 49ers, as good as they are, as good as their record is, they've been this banged up for like 2 months. It's insane. This 49ers team, we have not even seen the best of them yet. That's why I have them ranked so highly in my my power rankings that I release on Tuesdays. But look, the Packers, Devontae Adams, no surprise there, with his issue. His turf toe and everything. He's just going to be on the injury report for most of the rest of the season. The 49ers, you got Sanders, Samuel, their 2 best receivers. You got George Kittle, arguably their one of their 3 best receivers or their best receiver, but also a great tight end, very useful in the running game as a blocker as well. Matt Breida, their running back, he's questionable, by the way. Joe Staley's out again. You got D Ford, huge player for them, doubtful. It's just even their kicker's questionable, for crying out loud. I mean, it's unfortunate, but you know what? At this stage of the season for the 49ers, they don't have to be healthy. It's about getting healthy for the playoffs. And when this team is full, I just, as a football fan, I can't wait to see what this team's like when they're at full strength. The Packers are playing very well. They're the healthier team coming in. Obviously, that is an advantage for the Green Bay Packers, and I would say a heavy advantage based on some of the names on that list for San Francisco. Now, let's look at the key statistics, the key stats. These are in terms of yards accumulated throughout the season, okay? So you got the Packers. Their pass offense is ranked 11th versus the first-ranked pass defense for the 49ers. The pass offense for the 49ers is 15th. They've been climbing the ladder as of late. Garoppolo to Sanders to Samuel, all that stuff, it's been working well for them. They're 15th. The pass defense for the Packers is 23rd. You compare the run offense for the Packers, 18th. Run defense for the 49ers, 20th. And then no surprise there, the second-ranked run offense for the 49ers versus the 25th ranked run defense for the Packers. I have to say, in terms of yardage, what these offenses and defenses are doing, I have to give a pretty strong advantage, in my opinion, to the San Francisco 49ers here. You know that the 49ers are going to be able to move the ball. Again, injuries notwithstanding. And as I've said, San Francisco has been that banged up for most of the season. They've still made it work. So they have weapons basically everywhere. They're building quite a program, quite a team in San Francisco. Now let's look at the key analytics, what I call the gambler stats. Long story short, people that bet for a living on the NFL, they look at some of these key things first before going into whatever their system is. It's yards per play, situational football, 3rd and 4th down percentage. How good are you in the red zone? And then your discipline. What are your turnovers? What are your penalty yardage? So quickly, if we look at the Packers in the first two that yardage per play, the offense and the defense of the Packers. They gain 5.8. They give up 6.0. They're a net -2. Okay, that's weird to see a team as good as the Packers record-wise to be negative in the net yardage category there. That's interesting. Okay, San Francisco, they give up 4.5 yards per play. Very good. I think only maybe New England is better. They're very good on yards per play. Offensively, honestly, I'd expect them to get more than 5.6 yards per play. I would have expected them to be more towards the 6 area. Again, just kind of as a fan and what I've seen. So interestingly that they're that low. However, they do have a net of 1.1 yards between their offense and their defense. And if you compare these teams, you have to give a pretty strong advantage to San Francisco. They're going to be able to gain more yards per play consistently throughout this game. This is a tried and true metric in football. So if you see this and you don't buy it, I'm sorry, it's the truth. San Francisco will be throughout the game be able to move the ball more than the Packers will be able to move the ball. So then we move move on to situational, okay? How are they on third and fourth down? Well, you see the Packers, surprisingly, again, I would expect this number to be higher for a team with as good of a record as Green Bay's. 37.2% on third down. That's not great. That's borderline bad. They need to step that up for sure, especially against a strong 49ers defense who only give up first downs 30% of the time when it's third down. So their defense is very good. You see on the defensive side of the ball, the Packers are more where you'd expect, the 49ers are more where you would expect a one-loss team to be at that 47% third down percentage success rate on offense. The Packers defense isn't bad with 40%. That's not a bad number at all. Fourth down conversion, 0% for the Packers, which is kind of nuts. The 49ers get off the field basically 85% of the time. They only give up first downs on a fourth down attempt 15% of the time. That's low. That is very low. And then they get first downs 50% of the time compared to the 40%. So, again, situational football, yards per play, both, I think, heavily towards San Francisco. You look at red zone percentage, San Francisco can punch the ball in the end zone 50%. This is where the Packers are really earning their money at this point, their coaching staff. They're scoring more than two-thirds of the time when they get into the red zone. Okay, and they're going to need to keep that up against San Francisco. But you can see San Francisco's defense only give up 40%. Green Bay's defense gives up 48%. I give the advantage in the red zone. The 49ers are taking more field goals, and the Packers are forcing the issue a little bit more, and they are going to have to on Sunday, believe you me. Turnover margin, I think they're both very good at it. The Packers, obviously, a slight edge there. That's good. Penalty yardage, both of these are fairly low for NFL averages, so they're both pretty well-coached teams, I think. They're very disciplined. So, again, yards per play, the general statistics, I would give the advantage going into this game to the San Francisco 49ers just in terms of the analytics. But let's dig into the game plan. Let's dig into the tactics. What do the Packers have to do? What is their path to victory? Well, Aaron Jones needs to get rolling. Okay, so San Francisco's pass defense, I've been saying this since early in the season. Their pass rush is crazy. Their defensive line is as fast as I've seen any defensive line. They're very talented. They've been talented for a while, but then you add Bosa to it this year as a rookie, and they just go to another level. Yes, I know Dee Ford is hurt. That doesn't help, but they have depth, okay? So how do you neutralize that? You got to get the run game going because you can't go one-dimensional too early. You can't have Aaron Rodgers, even though he has a quick release, even though he's athletic and he can break the pocket. You can't have this defensive line just pinning their ears back and rushing at the quarterback, from the halfway through the first quarter through the end of the game. It's just going to be too much. You have to neutralize them. You have to keep them honest in the run game. The Packers, they need to find somebody opposite Davante Adams, okay? We've been talking about Valdez-Scantling. We've been talking about Geronimo Allison. I don't know. Is it? I think his name's Alan. Is Lazard? I think it's Alan Lazard there. I think when I watch the Packers games, I think that he is the second best receiver in this offense when I see him. So I want to see him get more opportunities. Maybe Green Bay coming off a bye week that will help him get further integrated. But they need somebody else because if it's just Davante Adams in this game, I'm sorry, the 49ers pass defense is too good. I don't think you can ever shut Adams and Rodgers down completely, but you can limit him. And if Davante Adams is limited, and he's already limited based on his injury, does not bode well for the Packers, okay? Jimmy Graham, wake him up. I don't know if he's hibernating. I don't know if he's been mummified. You need to wake him up, exhume his body, and have him play kind of like he played when he was with the Saints. They need to find another weapon offensively. It's that simple. Situationally, I mentioned third down before. If they can't get third downs, they're going to have to roll the dice. I do think that Green Bay, and the last comment here before I kind of move on, Green Bay, they're the 25th ranked run defense versus the second-ranked run offense for San Francisco. We know what's coming. San Francisco is going to try to establish the run. They've been successful throughout most of the season. It's not rocket science, everybody. We can all see it coming from a mile away. This defensive line better be ready. Now, what's going into the Packers' favor? They are coming off a bye week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and they have the health. Okay, so if this were any given Sunday, both teams at full strength playing in a neutral field, I would probably give the San Francisco 49ers maybe a 5-point advantage. Okay, they open up the game. They're at home, but I think they were 3.5-point favorites. I'm leaning towards San Francisco even with the injuries because I think they'll be able to establish the run. Green Bay needs to stop it. Let's talk about San Francisco's path to victory. I mentioned it's running, right? Pound the ball with Coleman, rotate your backs in. You can also get, Mostert, tomato. You can also get him and Breida, if Breida's healthy enough to play, involved in the screen game. You'll be able to get yards. Kittle, I really hope he plays, for the sake of San Francisco 49ers. Again, I'm not a fan of either team. I'm just a fan of the NFL. And as a fan of the NFL, I want to see Kittle play. I think this is a great matchup for him. He's big in the run game, and he's huge in the passing game. I think he could find the end zone twice, honestly, this week. With the ground game established, Sanders and Samuel, if they can play, because they're also injured, they're going to have some over-the-top shots. I think it's going to be a healthy dose. Let me look at my notes here. Okay. I think it's going to be a healthy dose of conservatism early and deep shots. I think they can just run the ball, move the chains with Kittle if he can be healthy, and then take your deep shot over the top. And I think that'll work just all game long. Bottle up Aaron Jones. I mentioned, if you can make Green Bay one-dimensional earlier in the game, that's only going to help your defensive, line get to the rush. And if you do that, Rodgers takes care of the ball. But if there's any way you're going to force Aaron Rodgers to create turnovers, it's hitting him while he throws the ball. So I think that's your recipe there. And then lastly, San Francisco, I mentioned they have the advantage here. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't mind an interception if he's throwing the ball deep to Samuel or, Bourne if Samuel or Sanders can't go. I don't mind the deep, 50 yards downfield, he throws an interception. It's kind of like a punt, but just take care of the ball situationally, inside, on your side of the 50-yard line. Don't turn the ball over. Don't let Green Bay flip the field, because I think they're going to have to. I think Green Bay is going to have to be the aggressor in this game. San Francisco, home field advantage. The running game, all the analytics line up. So if you take care of the ball, good things will happen. Let's move it and finish this video now with the betting, or I'm sorry, the fantasy football analytics. RoccoBot is what I named my fantasy football algorithm that I built. But I have Aaron Rodgers as a fringe start. Aaron Jones as a definite start. I think he'll have success this week, both on the ground and through the air. Jamal Williams, I don't like. Usually I do. I don't like him this week. Devontae Adams is a yes, assuming he can play. And you can see right there, the disparity with the other receivers. Valdez-Scantling and Allison are both on the bench as far as I'm concerned. I need to see something else. Jimmy Graham also needs to find some vintage Jimmy Graham, or maybe they need to rotate somebody else in there. And the defense and special teams I don't like for Green Bay this week. They're a strong unit, but I don't like them this week. San Francisco, what do they look like? I think Garoppolo is a fringe start, but I think this is more about the running game. That's a typo. Tevin Coleman's more at 15.72, not a 5.72, so he's a definite start. Breida, I think, is also a definite start. I think he'll have some opportunities in the passing game. Now, if he can't go, obviously that's Raheem Mostert, okay? Then you got Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel. I think that they can outplay these projections because I think they will have deep shots. I think they'll have big yardage accumulation. Whether or not they get in the end zone, I don't know, but I think they're both certainly worth playing in daily fantasy. And if you need somebody on your bottom flex, I actually have Deebo Samuel in my lineup this week, again, assuming he plays. George Kittle, 17. Like I said, I think he's going to get in the end zone. He could get in the end zone twice. And the defense and special teams, RoccoBot really loves the 49ers. I think that's the second best defensive projection from RoccoBot. I like the 49ers this week. What can I say? I think analytically they match up well, but don't discount the fact that Aaron Rodgers, first of all, is on that team and he's amazing. Don't discount the fact that Green Bay's coming off a bye week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare. And don't discount the fact that Green Bay's the healthier team. That matters, especially when teams are this talented playing with each other. I'm going to say final score, it's going to be something like San Francisco, I'm going to say maybe 27, Green Bay 20, somewhere in that area. So we'll see how that goes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We do game plans. If you're just a fan of the NFL, we do game plans. We try to do about 4 a week. I think I did 7 this week, leading into Thanksgiving, where I'm going to be a little bit lighter next week. So check out some of our other ones. I actually liked the Seattle versus Philadelphia one. I thought that was very interesting. Honestly, the Buffalo-Denver, which I did based on network ratings, that was a very interesting one when I broke those numbers down. And then, of course, I did the Rams and the Ravens on Monday Night Football. You got to do that one. So check some of those videos out. Check out some of our other stuff. We update our football and fantasy football playlist daily. It's the Week 12 playlist. Also, check out, subscribe. If you think I'm missing the mark, or you have questions about anything, comment. I'd love to talk with you. And once again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on another episode soon.